This video is to describe how to use the lookup functions, and the two functions that we're going to be talking about today are the Vlookup function and the Hlookup function. V stands for vertical lookup, H stands for horizontal lookup. Your lookup functions are a way for Excel to take data in a range and look up that value in a table to return additional information that is contained in the table. The example that I have here is that let's pretend that we're looking up a student's grade. Now, if you're looking here in cells A2 through B8, you can see that the range for a grade is 90 to 100 an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 C, 60 to 69 D, and below 60 is an F. Now, Excel does not understand that kind of range. So what you first need to do before you can use the VLOOKUP is to take this range of data and convert it into a manner that Excel will understand. Now, when you're using numbers like this, you need to set the range up from the lowest to the highest value, and the lowest value within each range becomes what's called the breakpoint. So what I've done here in columns D, E, and F, or especially in column D, is I've taken the range from the breakpoint. The lowest score is a 0, and in the next range, the next breakpoint, the lowest score is a 60. For the next breakpoint, the lowest score is a 70, the lowest score is an 80, and then the lowest score is a 90. Notice that it is in lowest to highest order. You don't put it in the other way. Now, based on those breakpoints, you can see I have identified the grade assigned, and I also am eventually going to add some comments. All right, let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to come down here to cell C12. And if you notice, we have Bob over here, and his test score was a 55. I want Excel to take that 55, look it up into this table up above here, and go down the first vertical column. And when it reaches a breakpoint, return the grade in column E. So, here's how you do this. I'm going to go up and insert the function, and I'm going to look for VLOOKUP to locate my vertical lookup function, and then open up the insert function dialog box. Now, what we first want to do, the insert function, the VLOOKUP dialog box has 3 arguments that are required. The last 4th argument is optional. The first argument is the value you want to look up. Now, we want to look up Bob's grade, so the grade in Bob's test score is in cell B12. So I'm just going to put B12 in my lookup value. Now, my table that I want to look it up includes the table that contains all the ranges and the columns in which you want to return the data from. This table array does not include the column headings. So my table array needs to be the range D4 through F8. Lastly, the third argument is the column index number. Now, you can't go by column name, D, E, or F. You need the index number. This table itself consists of 3 columns. The first column is the range column. That's column 1. The second column index number 2, is the grade, and the comments is column number 3. For in this example, we want to bring back the grade, so I want to put column number 2. Now, my last option is range lookup. If we omit it, or if we put the word true, what it's going to do is find the closest match in the first column with that column sorted in ascending order. And that's exactly what we want to do in this example. If you put the word false, you're going to be looking for an exact match. Now, we don't want to do that because you can see that Bob's test score is a 55, and there is no exact match in this range D4 through D8. Okay, so we're just going to admit it, or you could put the word true, and we're going to go ahead and click OK. So you can see that I now have the grade appears. I'll go ahead and center that. So sure enough, if I myself took the cell, the information in B12, which is 55, and went down column D, it would stop right away. It does not meet the 60. So it's going to go back to the 0 range and pull from the second column and provide me that letter grade F. Now, if I take this and use my fill handle to copy it down, you can see I get all bizarre answers, things that do not work. And the reason for that is because if I come back to C12 where I put my vertical lookup function, I need to make sure that the table lookup array, is absolute. So I'm going to come up to my formula bar and I'm going to make D4 absolute and F8 absolute. I'll go ahead and accept that now, and now use my fill handle to copy it down. And again, we'll just check it. Here's Jim. He has a test score of 60. It went to the range. It found that 60, provided us the letter grade of D. Okay, let's do B, the next one, 81. So it's higher than 0, higher than 60, higher than 70, higher than 80, but not higher than 90, so it added a B. Okay, all right. Just to repeat this then, let's go ahead and find the test grade for test 2. Now, instead of using the table array range and making it absolute, we can create a range name. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the range D4 through F8, and I'm going to click in my name box and I'm going to name that range grades. Now, what we can now do is insert your function, Vlookup. We're going to be looking up to test score 2 grades, which is in D12. My table of range, I'm going to put the word grades because that's my table now. And the column, then the grade we want to return is also column 2. We do not want to find an exact match. We want to find the closest array, the closest value. So we're going to leave that blank and click OK. I'll center this grade and I'll use my fill handle to copy it down. To show you the difference between column 2 and using column 3, we want to now add comments to this. So once again, I'm going to insert my function, my Vlookup. I'm going to be looking up the test score for test 2 in my table array called grades. This time though, instead of bringing back the grade, I want to bring back the comments. So remember, the range of 0s through 90 is in column 1. The grades F through A are column 2. The comments are in column 3. Again, we want to make a closest match. We'll click OK, and we can fill handle that down, and you can see that it adds the grades from the 3rd column. Now, just very quickly, that's the vertical lookup. I just wanted to show you how horizontal lookup works. In the horizontal lookup table, you set your range from highest to lowest in the first row going across. And then you continue to put the rest of the information in rows instead of columns. So that if I wanted to use my horizontal lookup here, I would open up my insert function, look up the Hlookup. The value I'm going to look up is the first test score for Bob. The table array is C2 through G4. And now the row that I want to bring back, now remember the range 0 to 90 is in row 1. the grades are in row 2, and then the comments are in row 3. We want to bring back the grade that's in row 2. If we center that and use the fill handle going down, oops, I get I forgot to, you can see I get what unacceptable errors. That's because I forgot to make my table array absolute. So I'll edit the formula in my formula bar to make them absolute, and now use my fill handle to go down so that you can fill in the grades. That's the vertical and horizontal lookup function.